you doing? Yeah, not bad. How you doing? How's things?
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
lot
it's
of
an
thoughts.
exciting time.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a massive sort of time for Voyager at the moment. I mean, what is it? What's it like at the moment? How are you guys feeling at the moment?
It doesn't stop, and that's a really good thing. I think that's kind of what everyone wants from their band is to always be doing something with them or talking about it or yeah, playing some music in some way. So yeah, everyone's I'm not going to lie, we're all a little bit exhausted, but we're all very very excited and happy with how things are going at the moment. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a really cool time.
Oh, there's a lot of things that I want to touch on, but first of all, obviously, you just released the album last week on Friday. Fearless in Love, obviously, is the latest album. What's been the feedback so far from not just from the fans and all that, but from critics and all that kind of stuff as well?
Um, it's been fantastic. I've been keeping a pretty close eye on a lot of the reviews, and what's been really rewarding for me is just everyone seems to kind of pick up on what we were trying to do with the album.
Mhm.
Like yeah, if I pick certain moments, like there's a part in one of the songs, "Listen," where it sounds like it's building and building and building to like a really big part, and then the whole thing gets pulled back. And like I've seen comments on that going like it's really interesting to subvert those expectations and people are talking about like where songs are placed on the album and which ones have been released in singles and what we were
Mhm.
trying to do with that. And yeah, it's just nice to know that like we had this idea and it seems to be actually coming across. So it's awesome feeling.
Well, that's good, and obviously people are quite invested in it if they can pick up on those kind of little subtle things. So, what was the sort of overall goal of this latest album then?
Uh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure if we ever had like a specific goal. We really do kind of just go where the songwriting process takes us.
Mm.
Yeah, obviously we're always trying to build on what we've done previously, and we're trying to do whatever we can to get heard by as many people as possible. But I think from a songwriting sense, we did kind of focus on really tightening things up a bit because there's a tendency a lot of the time, especially with the kind of music that we write, to really just sort of I don't want to say just do what we want to do because we're doing that with this album as well, but just
Mhm.
I guess not thinking as critically as you can about your own music.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time, like even after the songs were written, just going back and listening to them again and again, and really asking the tough questions about, well, does it need everything we've put in here?
Mhm.
Does the song work better if you swap some parts around or move a part entirely out of the song? Does it make more sense if this instrumental part is simplified a little bit? I think we really just wanted to see what happens if we paid a lot more attention to really being quite focused on every part of the songwriting. Because normally we sort of just jump in a rehearsal room and bash the songs out,
Mhm.
ad nauseum until they kind of take shape. It's almost
Yeah.
like hammering at a rock with a hammer and hoping something comes out of it. This time we're kind of like chiseling away and really trying to work out what the song was going to be. Yeah, with a much more precise tools, I think.
Yeah, yeah. So is that a different process for you then compared to previous, releases and stuff? And also, on top of that, like, because a lot of bands obviously worked through, obviously the pandemic and stuff, and kind of allowed
Mm.
themselves to kind of really focus on sort of the sort of really sort of nitty gritty of the sort of songs and stuff. Was that sort of part of this album at all in any way, or?
Yeah, there's a lot about this album that was very different to how we've done albums in the past. So, I
Mm.
mean, yeah, like part of it was practical. I mean, the pandemic did sort of limit how much time we could spend getting in a close quarters in a room and rehearsing physically.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of sending ideas back and forward, which does force you to focus a lot more because you're not dealing with like the really loud drums or the amplified guitars
Hmm.
things. You're actually hearing all of the parts. But then also, sort of because we did it that way as well, once the songs are written, at least for me as the drummer, I've got to go away and learn them because I did a lot of the writing on, just program drums and gritting it all that way.
Yeah.
So we had the album ready, and it's like, okay, we're going to go and record in 4 weeks. I'm like, oh yeah, cool. I've got some rehearsing to do. Um, and again, because you're writing sort of like in front of a computer or like just in a room rather than at your instruments with the rest of the band, a lot of the takes that you hear on that album are actually the first time that we've played those songs as a band.
Oh wow.
And our producer came in, and Matthew Templeman, and said, like, I'd like to get you guys to record live this time rather than multi-track. So yeah, it's completely different to how Voyager would do it. We all set up in the same room and we all played the songs. And yeah, most of the time it was the first time we played them together, and that got recorded, and it just gives the whole thing kind of a bit of an immediacy, which I really like.
Wow. So I guess when you listen to the album or you hear the songs, or even when you're playing the songs live, I guess when you come up to those moments where you know that you had that sort of first sort of moment on in the studio, I mean, what is how does that feel? Like, how did you sort of look back on that immediately, or I mean, how do you look at that?
I've got videos of a lot of the tracking that we did in the studio, and there's just lots of moments like, sort of in the track grand, like right at the end, there's a very heavy sort of breakdown to
Mhm.
finish off the song and finish off the album. And you can just watch all of our faces just like lighting up and looking at each other going, oh, this is fun. And I
Yeah.
think we recorded that song about five more times than we needed to, just because we were really enjoying playing it.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Um,
Yeah.
and obviously, it is there's just a lot of different elements in there, obviously, on the album, but it still retains the Voyager sound. Like when you hear these songs, and I was listening to it today, just in the car on the way, in here, and I just like it, you could just tell immediately, like it was Voyager, but like adding those sort of newer elements and kind of like adding sort of different elements and whatever. I mean, how do you sort of like process the idea of like creating new stuff and not kind of repeating yourselves from stuff that you've done in the past? Is that a difficult thing to do, or?
Uh, it's not something that we consciously think about too much. It seems to just sort of happen for us pretty naturally.
Mm,
I think we're I mean, everyone's going to say this. We're always interested in trying to, write the best music that we can, and always trying to sort of one up what we've done previously.
yeah.
I don't know necessarily what that means in a creative context. I mean, you can't really say any music is better than any other music. It's just sort of what you like.
Mm,
I think what we do is, we just sort of capture where we're all at the time with, how we feel about music and how we feel about writing together, and that tends to be best for us in that moment. I mean, if you look at Voyager's first couple of albums, they're very power metal.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you look at them now, and it's more of like a melodic, modern pop synthwave kind of thing, which is just how we feel like writing songs at the moment. And who knows what it's going to look like, in the next album. But
Well,
there's lots of little things as well. Like I was listening to Colors the other day and going, oh, there's a lot of interesting things happening with time signatures in this album. I think it's like three songs that have 7/4 time or something like that on
mm,
it. And then I looked at this album, and it's just all 4/4 all the way through for Fearless in Love. Like that's just something we didn't touch on this time. And
yeah.
there was never a conscious decision to do it. It's just how the songs turned out.
Yeah, cool. And obviously performing them live. I mean, I caught you at I guess it was at the Magnet House, and it really felt like to me, and I think to a lot of people, like a bit of a homecoming. Did it sort of feel like that to you guys as well?
Absolutely, yeah. That's one of the reasons why it sort of got upgraded and moved to Magnet House as well, because there's a bit of Voyager history at that venue. I think a couple of albums have been launched there back in the very early days of the band. That's where a lot of the gigs were done back when it was
Yeah.
Capitol or Monkey Bar or the Globe or wherever
Yeah,
else
yeah.
it's been. But no, it was a nice feeling. Like, we'd spent the whole year just riding this wave of support from back home. Especially when we were over in Europe doing the Eurovision thing. And it was just nice to be able to come home and sort of bathe in that a little bit, and also just kind of do what we do for longer than 3 minutes, and kind of, just, get and play in front of the people who've, meant so much to us, and helped us so much doing what we do.
One of the things that I noticed at the show was it was obviously there was a lot of the usual Voyager fans and the metalheads and rock fans and stuff like that. But there was a little bit of a different mix as well, like a real sort of diverse crowd. Do you kind of feel like, since Eurovision that you've kind of noticed there's a bit of a change in some of your demographics as far as like the crowd and the fans and stuff?
We've definitely noticed that, like, just coming off the back of the Australian run, I'd say like a lot of the time it was almost half, if not more, kind of new fans coming from the whole Eurovision experience.
Yeah.
Um, and it's really cool because we've been talking, I talked to a lot of those people as well, and we did some meet and greets and things. And yeah, it's just nice to hear people say, I've never been out to a show like this before, but it's so much fun. And
Hmm.
part of you feels like I've been saying this for years. Like, yeah, everyone should come out to a metal show. It's a great. It's not scary. It's not intimidating. It's just a fun time.
Yeah.
But it's nice to actually have people come and do that and go, yeah, this is great. Please come again. We'll have an even better time next time.
Yeah, I mean, literally, like everyone that I could see in the crowd just enjoyed it. Like it was just such a fun night, no matter who they were or where they came from, if they're a new fan or old fan. It was just one of those moments where I think just from a sort of Perth music fan perspective, there was a bit of an appreciation for like the fact that a band from Perth has sort of made all this trek and done all these great things, and we're kind of
Mm.
just seeing it in person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's an awesome feeling to be able to do. Yeah. And I think we're very much a band that really really enjoys playing live, like most, I guess. But it's something we place a lot of emphasis on, and we take it very seriously that we're meant to be entertaining. Like, uh, not that it's necessarily a bad thing, but you can go to shows sometimes, and it can be a bit more sort of atmospheric and maybe introspective, and
Mhm.
and that's great if that's what you're going for. But if you want to go out and like have a bit of a dance and a bit of a party, like that's the kind of thing that we want to bring to it. We just want everyone to have a really good time.
Yeah, it was definitely a
That
party
means we have a good
feeling.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and those outfits that you guys were wearing as well were certainly outstanding.
Hmm. Oh yeah, shout out to Zhivago, another Perth business there. She's
Okay, cool.
her and her fashion house have dressed people from Madonna to Nicole Scherzinger to,
Oh wow.
yeah, God knows, Elle Macpherson, I think recently as well.
Yeah,
So
cool.
clearly the pinnacle of that career was donning a bunch of crusty old dudes from Voyager and some sequins. Nice to bring that along.
Yeah. Oh no, no, I mean it looked great, and but it was again just part of the whole party vibe, all that stuff, So it's a great show. I do want to quickly ask, and I'm sure you've been asked this a million times, but just for my own curiosity, what was it really like stepping on stage for the first time at Eurovision? What was that initial feeling when you sort of did it for the first time?
I uh, I think something that's we all kind of shared is a big part of it was, oh, finally, like, and I don't mean to sound conceited, but like it was
Hmm.
finally, in a lot of ways, like, the whole process was, 5 or 6 months of preparation and work and talking about it in rehearsals.
Yeah.
So you're just waiting to actually go and do the thing you're good at, which is play music and work a stage. So to
Hmm.
get on there, it felt really nice. I think as well, like, um, every band's always dreamed about, what they would do if they were given the big stage and all the production and just anything they wanted to put on the best show that they possibly could. So
Yeah.
again, like, I've been waiting my whole music career for a stage like that. So again, you get on there and you're just like, oh yes, finally I can give the songs the production I feel like they deserve.
Hmm.
um and yeah, it was really comfortable as well. It was just so nice to get on a stage. Like, we spent so long doing like interviews and media and photo opportunities and
Yeah.
clothes fittings and things like that. And
Mm.
then you get on a stage, it's like, oh, I totally understand this. This feels like home.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it looked like you were quite comfortable on there, and it didn't look like you were nervous at all. But I'm sure you must have been nervous doing that show.
I don't think I ever was. I think the only time I was ever nervous was like maybe a couple of minutes before going on stage for some of the bigger live ones, because we had to run it like 8 times in front of an audience, because there's
Okay.
like multiple viewings and things like that.
Hmm.
And I think just the moments before your adrenaline kicks in, I'm just like, oh, I hope that adrenaline rush is coming soon, and then it kicks in. You're like, all right, sweet, cool, we're good.
Yeah. Was there anything surprising about the whole experience at all that you maybe didn't know about it or wasn't expecting at all?
um, I mean, it doesn't surprise me hugely, but it's just a marvel to see, like, just all the crew and the technical considerations of putting on something like that. Like, they have to change over the stage in 40 seconds. I mean,
Wow.
there's 26 acts playing in one night at the grand final, and they're doing
Yeah.
40-second changeovers between all those acts, and they're not just changing over like cymbals on a drum kit or something like that, which I don't think I could do in 40 seconds. They're changing the whole stage over, like,
Wow. Yeah.
props, screening, pyrotechnics, everything. Like, that's it's just insane, the amount of coordination that goes into that. um I also thought in the sort of 6 weeks we spent there campaigning and everything that there'd be a day off, and there wasn't. So
Wow. Okay. Well, there you go. So what next for Voyager now that the album is out and you've done a tour around the country and stuff? I guess you could be doing more touring on the back of the album, or what's the plan?
that's pretty much it. I was thinking about this today, and it's easy to forget after doing that and doing the Australian tour and then the album coming out that your job's done. but it's
Mhm.
kind of the other way around. Like the job just begins. This is the beginning of the new album cycle.
Yeah.
So we've got lots more promotion to do. Like you said, we've got a lot of touring to do. Like we're heading to Europe for a run in October, and the offers are coming in thick and fast for 2024. It's going to be a very busy year. So we're working out how we're going to make all that work, and blocking out the times, and yeah, just actually getting out there and playing in support of this album. And us and our team have a lot of cool ideas for some of the things we want to do with this album as well, like extra recordings or special performances or things. So there's a lot of things kind of up in the air that we're trying to keep up in the air, keep the plate spinning so it all comes
Okay.
to fruition. But yeah, it's good. I don't want to slow down. I want to keep going. This is a
Yeah.
great time. It's a great ride.
Yeah, why not? Well, look,
Yeah.
congratulations on literally everything that's been happening with you guys. I mean, as a fan myself, and also it's just from Perth as well. It's just a great thing to see, and obviously, absolutely well deserved. So, thanks for putting out some great music, and it's been a great run for you guys, and hopefully, the future will be even better and bigger for you guys. So, should be awesome.
Legend, thank you so much. And yeah, thanks for all the support. Like we don't get to say it often enough, but like over this whole process, and it's been a long one, we've sort of felt it every step of the way. And it
Mm.
definitely helps you keep going.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you very much.
Awesome, man. Well, look, thanks for your time, man. I really appreciate it. And good luck for everything in the next, I guess, 2 years or whatever. So.
Legend. Thanks, Andrew. Great to talk to you.